Hello, viewers. Welcome to the Street Talk Show. My name is Abundance Effiong. This episode is titled Ministers in Forgery. On October 7th, 2025, Mr. Geoffrey Uchechukwu Naji, the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, resigned. He tendered his resignation later to Mr. President. Why did he resign? He resigned because some time ago, Premium Times, one of the leading online newspapers in Nigeria, alleged that he did not graduate from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, in 1981 as his current certificate claims, and that he did not also partake in the compulsory NYSC exercise. Initially, Mr. Honorable Minister denied such allegation. As a matter of fact, he claimed, not just claiming, he went to court to compel the university authorities to release his transcript. But then again, when Premium Times began to mount much more pressure on him, the next thing was that his enemies from Enugu State, in fact, his enemy from Enugu State, that's the current governor of Enugu State, is the one who is trying to pull him down, who's trying to get him out of office. And when the pressure became enormous, even at some point, Professor Otoya, the Vice Chancellor of UNN, spoke through a letter indicating that, yes, from the available records, this gentleman, at some point in 1981, enrolled in UNN. But there are no available records to prove that this gentleman graduated in 1985. There are no records. And there are also no records from the NYSC office to prove that this gentleman saved. That's probably in 1986. And so the VC distanced himself from the whole saga. And then on that Tuesday, because of too much pressure, so many people are talking in the social media space and in the traditional media, the minister had to throw in the towel. He took a bow, like they would say in the Senate. Again, in 2018, there was a beautiful lady called Kemi Adeushu. She was the then Minister of Finance. In that 2018, she had already done about 3 years or thereabouts, or was in the process. Yes, she's done 3 years. When the same Premium Times came out again and alleged that she did not undergo the compulsory NYSC exercise, that the certificate that she's been using all of those years was forged. Initially, like Mr. Naji, she tried to deny it, and then the heat mounted. When the heat was too much, she too threw in the towel. She resigned. Sometime in 1999, when the Third Republic began, there was this brilliant young man, handsome, tall, that handsome young man. I actually liked him then. His name is Salisu Ibrahim. No, sorry, Salisu Buhari. That's right. I remember that name very well. He was the first speaker in the Third Republic. That young man was accused of using a forged certificate. He claimed he graduated with a diploma from the University of Toronto in Canada. And then he was also accused of forging his age, that he wasn't up to the age of contesting for that position. There was so much uproar. Then we didn't really have this social media space. But the traditional media went agog with this story. Everywhere, the whole nation shook. The young man had no other choice than to resign. Now we come to the next thing. For a public servant to be allowed to attend a public office, especially a minister, he or she ought to have been screened by the Senate and also by the DSS, Department of State Service. They ought to have found out if the documents he has tendered are real or forged. So the question is, why could the Senate and the DSS not detect these two ministers? Why did he not know that these two ministers were running on forged certificates? Or was it just the usual idea of take a bow and go? Maybe I will take a look at his screening video. That I'm talking about Mr. Naji's screening video. And so this is a very important matter. I am coming out to say that, look, we can't allow our system to be run like this. The Senate ought to do its job. The DSS ought to do its job. If someone is nominated for a position of minister, you ought to do your screening very thoroughly. Go to the school where he claims to have attended. Ask for permission to see his results. Ask the school. And recently, we have this information act, where you can actually have this public information act, where you can actually have access to information. But for the DSS, they don't even need that act to act, because they are authorized by law to inquire into people's background. What is the screening if you don't look into these documents? Someone can bring documents from anywhere and claim anything. It is your responsibility to go through these documents and go to the sources where these documents were procured and then verify that these documents truly exist. Imagine where a public servant at that level of governance, a minister who is part of the presidency, is lying to the public, running with fake results, fake documents. What is the hope for the masses? What is the hope for the young people that are coming up? What example are we showing them? INEC ought to have done its job. Before someone contests for election, INEC should do a thorough screening. As a matter of fact, they should liaise with the DSS. They should liaise with relevant authorities to ensure that these documents that are being tendered are verified to be true copies. Beyond that, beyond calling out Senate and calling out the DSS to do their jobs well, let us also look at the other side of the case. A public servant has lied. A public servant has been discovered to have been running with forged documents. Is there no law against forgery? Should they not be punished for having forged documents? Let me ask a question. If the law enforcement agencies were to catch someone who went to this famous place in Lagos to forge documents, that place where they always say people forge documents in Lagos. I can't remember the name immediately right now. So if he were to have gone there to get some documents and then is arrested by the police, won't they be prosecuted? A public servant, as the name implies, is serving the public. It means that he is accountable to the public. It also means that for a public servant, he has to show a quintessence character. He has to show a kind of character that when the younger people hear about it, they look up to him. These are role models. Whether we like it or not, these public servants are role models. There are people who want to be like them. You know, apart from Professor Bat Naji, who was the Minister for Power in the days of Chief Obasanjo, President Obasanjo then, he was the only one I know that has resigned from public office because he was not allowed to do his job properly, effectively. I don't know of any other person. Probably you know. Please, if you know of any other one, send me a message. Go to our comment box and drop that message. I am emphasizing that if public servants are punished when they lie, if public servants are punished when they forge documents, not only when they steal money, if they are punished, other people are going to think twice before attempting to do such. Let me tell you, at the international scene, when other people read about these things in our media, even in international media, some of the things I read about these things are also in BBC, in CNN. These things are heard outside of Nigeria. What do you think it does to the Nigerian public image? What do you think it does to the Nigerian international image? It degrades us. It makes us a mockery nation. We can't afford to allow this to continue. Nigeria is a giant of the black world, the most important nation in the black world, the leader of Africa. We cannot afford not to sanitize our house. From now henceforth, any minister or any public servant caught lying should be punished. I don't want us to do selective justice or selective punishment. If you don't belong to the ruling party, that happens sometimes. If you're a member of the opposition, oh, you could be, the law moves so fast. You could be brought to book instantly within a short span of time. But when you are a member of the ruling party, things seems to take slow pace. As I speak right now, the Mr. President has accepted the resignation letter of former Honorable Minister Naji. But I am saying that if Kemi had gotten away with it, he should not be allowed to get away with it. If investigations are done by the government agencies, the right agencies, and he is found wanting, he should be punished. But if he's not found wanting, if it is just allegation by Premium Times that can be substantiated, by his own camp, then he will be exonerated. In fact, he will even be called back. They will have to plead with him to come back and take his position. Otherwise, if he's found guilty, he should be punished. It is very, very important that our public servants have clean hands. What does it take? Even if you came in with the least qualification, you have time to go back to school. The universities are there. You have opportunity, you have the money, you can hire private lecturers. At the end of it, you can do it. I remember that His Excellency Uzoji Kalu went back to school while he was governor. Some people come in and just tender their secondary school certificates and then grow from there. There's nothing wrong with that. You're showing example to the younger generation that look, you can rise from nothing to something. But when you come in and you want to veil this secret that you have, it is wrong, it is condemnable. And therefore I advocate that the government should not only receive the resignation letter of Mr. Honorable Minister, they should also investigate, set the agencies in position, the ICPC, or whatever agency is responsible for that. If he's found guilty, I am saying he should be brought to book so that other people can learn something. Our youths need to learn from the leaders. Viewers, I have come to say my own piece of mind. You have a right to go to the comment box and say what you want to say. I want to thank you for watching the Street Talk Show. I want to thank you for being there for us through subscription, through sharing, and through every other support that you have been showing us. Thank you so much. We're very, very grateful. My name is Abundance Effiong. Until I come your way again in another episode, it is a goodbye from me. God bless you.